Hello, hello. We'll get started here soon with World University and Schools Hangout on Air. And just emailing the link for World University and Schools Hangout on Air to Julian Dumitrascu, who's the named CEO of the WUaS Co. And I think he'll join us today from Romania, from Transylvania. So today we'll talk about how the World University and School MIT OpenCourseWare centric wing forked into the WUaS Corporation last year. Both are planned in 200 countries, official and main languages in the countries themselves, and also as educational services companies, academic markets in all living languages, all 200 countries' languages, all 7,097 living languages. So I'm hoping that will emerge more fully in a conversation with Julian shortly. So hang on while we get this going. There's multiple connectivity possibilities in the digital age here, and bringing them all together is an interesting challenge. So be with you in a moment for World University and Schools Hangout on Air, which is a conversation other people may join as well. And the email address, if you'd like to communicate in other ways, is info at worlduniversityandschool.org. Just sent Julian the link for this Hangout. And I think he'll join us momentarily. I hope. So what I'd like to talk today about, to see if people join us in the process, is the WUaS Corporation business plan and how it relates to World University and School. So World University and School this autumn is seeking to develop our second undergraduate class, 2018 to 2019, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds in English from all over the world, taking MIT OpenCourseWare courses toward a free CC4 MIT OpenCourseWare-centric bachelor's degree over 4 years. And for this, World University and School has developed and forked into the WUaS Co for a bookstore and academic press planned with machine translation in all 7,097 living languages eventually, but 200 countries official and main languages initially. And this would build out of existing translation processes, technologies, such as Google Neural Machine Translation and potentially Wikidata with content translation, and their recent lexicographical developments with information technology. I think they created version 1, which this lexicographical data will become the basis for, I think, further translation with regard to Wikidata and in many other ways. So the WUaS Co, in addition to a bookstore and an academic press, planned for translation of STEM books, science, technology, engineering books, and poetry, engaging potentially what I'll call the algorithmic effect, which is what the Stanford University computer science professor and great emeritus Don Knuth thinks of as what computing is. So I think these translation processes will improve with the algorithmic effect. Google itself comes significantly out of Stanford's computer science department even, and therein lies a remarkable resource. Humans will probably always be part of the translation process, and the WUaS Corporation also seeks to be a major employer with the World University and School itself in all kinds of academic spheres, including translation. So the WUaS Co has about 8 other planned revenue streams in addition to an online bookstore in 200 countries and in 7,000 languages, which will eventually develop into an online, on-the-ground, bricks and mortar bookstores, computer stores, robotics stores, and academic translation are the first 2. We would also like to develop with hospital technologies, for example, for our online medical schools, with online teaching hospitals for online clinical care, and potentially our stores and translation processes could facilitate technologies in all 200 countries, official and main languages in these regards as well. So for our bookstore and translation processes, I'm hoping we can extend the online publishing space may be emerging out of Wikidata in one way or another with MediaWiki, our new front-end technology, Wikidata being our planned back-end information technologies. So by extending existing publishing with machine translation, which doesn't exist, I would like to grow the academic press at World University and School in many, many directions. What's interesting about some of these publishing softwares, technologies, is that in some countries they actually deliver tax forms to the authors in the countries, which is a very interesting integration of both publishing with existing legal and financial systems. And World University and School would like to code for this as well. And it's particularly since we have Google education and are quite Google-centric, the possibility of combining, if we can, both Google neural machine translation with some sort of emergent Wikidata processes for translation, for lexicographical developments in machine translation, and to create online bookstores and hospital technologies that we would seek to excel. So what I'm hoping is that Julian in Romania, Transylvania, and as the named CEO, and with a European base and a European-centric orientation, and as a translator himself, can begin to help co-develop World University and School's WUaS Co from Europe. And in that process, maybe start with the academic press at World University and School's 2 existing books, which are 1 Naked Harbin Ethnography and 2 Haiku-ish, a book of haiku poetry, as kind of almost guinea pigs, models for development, potentially, possibly for translation and also for the online bookstore. And if it's possible, the WUaS Co's bookstore with inventory will have a database based on Wikidata's wiki citation, which would be CC0 licensed. CC0 licensing allows for commerce, where by way of comparison, CC4, Creative Commons 4 licensing of MIT OpenCourseWare, allows for A, sharing, B, adaptation. We can add algorithms to the MIT OpenCourseWare links, for example, but C is non-commercial. So we can't sell World University and School accrediting on MIT OpenCourseWare centric resources cannot sell or ask tuition or things like that from students. So it's in the WUaS Corp bookstore, the CC0 licensing of Wikidata and potentially wiki citation in Wikipedia's 301 languages. that will provide sort of the back-end database structure for the books, including the 2 books I've mentioned. Each page would potentially contain a book. Each web page would have a book. For example, Naked Harbin Ethnography has its own web page, and Haiku-ish has its own web page. And these web pages could be the proxy for selling them to audiences we reach out to. Students who are matriculated would get their textbooks and other related educational materials at the World University and School bookstore, eventually in many languages, and at the bachelor, PhD, law, medicine, and international baccalaureate high school degrees, again in 200 countries, official and main languages. But to begin, I think starting with our existing resources and maybe hand coding web pages with the backend database of Wikidata, CC0 books in 301 languages may be the way we go. The WUaS Co goes. So this is something World University and School would seek to explore with Julian as well. It's getting started in Wikidata as a back-end information technology structured knowledge database with World University and School's front-end information technology, the WUaS Miraheza MediaWiki, which we got newly in 2017, last year. That's the key thing we're waiting on. And we would also at this stage like to code for learners, universitians, volunteers, end users at World University and School in all 7,097 living languages. And in the process, in this key moment of coding, we would explore World University and School and the WUaS Corporation. So World University and School for matriculated students, for learners in all 200 countries' official languages, and wiki editors in all 7,097 languages, so as kind of teachers and learners as wiki editors. And on the WUaS Corp side, for end users and matriculated students who would be getting books, textbooks from the WUaS bookstore, that in this coding process of combining the WUaS MediaWiki front end with the Wikidata backend, we would like to plan for all 7.5 billion people. And in that process, we may seek to also code for a cryptocurrency with blockchain, something like Bitcoin, but in such a way in our 200 countries' universities and their official languages that even central banks in all 200 countries would back a single cryptocurrency with blockchain ledger to lower the risks with this new currency. There are thousands of cryptocurrencies, different individual cryptocurrencies, which have been generated in recent years. The MIT Tech Review said 1,600 recently, but probably many, many more. And while these are interesting new, call them assets, that a numismatic market of cryptocurrencies, a coin, typically a historical coin market, will revel in the future, lowering the risks and even developing a single cryptocurrency with blockchain ledger that would gain widespread use. For example, among all 7.5 billion people, is something that both wings of World University and School could code for. And potentially do this via a universal basic income, a UBI, where each country would back this universal basic income for their citizens, and in the process help make this single cryptocurrency in their country and in all 200 countries viable. The euro in the European Monetary Union is perhaps the best example of this in recent years, of a single currency coming to take the place of individual member states, individual nation states' currency over the past 20 years or so. In something like 19 out of 28 European Union countries, or even as many as 25 out of 28 European Union countries, is one currency being used, with dissenters, with countries that are abstaining, with countries that have retained their own historic individual currencies. So World University and School, forking into the WUaS Co, would seek to develop these cryptocurrencies as well, one cryptocurrency, and perhaps even our law school students eventually in 200 countries' official languages, and our computer science students could help code for this single cryptocurrency with blockchain ledger in all 200 countries in their legal systems as well. So this would emerge on potentially the WUaS Co side as well. So that's a snapshot of where the WUaS Co is heading, the WUaS Corporation is heading in its very early startup form. It is a for-profit general stock company in its startup form and seeking to grow as we develop our World University and School wing with matriculated students and accrediting on the MIT OpenCourseWare, accrediting in the same way that Stanford and UC Berkeley and the 10 UCs and many other universities accredit, which will allow World University and School to continually reevaluate and improve our degrees and perhaps become thus more attractive to highest achieving students from around the world, first in English, then potentially in our pilot languages of Chinese, Spanish, German, Russian, Japanese, Indonesian, Romanian, and other main languages. Much here depends on the translation of the MIT OpenCourseWare and even translation technologies. Books don't translate quite so quickly and readily as MIT OpenCourseWare itself, which has an open license for translating on its translated courses page. So we'll see what kind of time schedule emerges for translating these courses. So if people have questions about this further, please let me know. I'm glad to be in communication with Julian Dumitrascu, the named CEO of WUaS Co in Romania. And we will explore developing this further, particularly in an emergent platform, potentially out of Wikidata, for both bookstore and lexicographical resources for an academic press at WUaS with machine translation. I'll post the 10 planned revenue streams below this YouTube video, and potentially some other resources there. Thank you for participating in this Hangout on Air. If you watch it in the future, or if you've been watching it as it's been streaming live, if you have questions, please email them, or ideas or suggestions, at info@worlduniversityandschool.org. And the website for World University and School is worlduniversityandschool.org. And the wiki, where you can become a teacher or a learner, and eventually in your native language, is wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org. World University and School plans to hold a hangout next Monday as well. First Monday in June 2018. See you then, and thank you. worlduniversityandschool.org. I'm Scott McLeod, and it's May 28th, 2018. Bye for now.